わためは悪くないよね。
Yes, she never did. It wasn't a secret that me too have fallen into the black hole of Vtubers during the 2020 quarantine. Considering chances are, most of you came here from the translated clips I have made in the past month, so to send off both Koko Kaicho and Konduru, our Eldritch Queen, and all the joy and impacts they have brought, as well as welcoming in the V-singer Iris, we'll be looking at how, and more importantly, why VTubers have grown so massively successful that they appear like they are going to overtake traditional animes. Well, to begin with, I believe most of you already know the how, but let's go over it just for clarity. The obvious reason is the 2020 quarantine, which trapped people inside and therefore, suddenly, demand for bingeable content skyrocketed. Especially for the anime fans, where the mid-year 2020 was when there was a drought of good animes to watch, thanks to the delay that had to be made exactly because the anime industry itself was already notorious for working on suffocatingly tight schedule even without the pandemic. But in case you thought there were none at all, here are some animes during that period that I recommend. Not to mention that in recent years, with a swarm of both repetitive plague of bad isekais and anime quality degrading, exactly because the anime industry itself is financially suffering. I have a video series on why this is and why light novels are to blame. Click on this annotation to go to it if you haven't watched it yet, preferably after this video. At any point, it already made following seasonal anime something many anime fans feel more like a chore to prevent their interest from dying than genuinely something they look forward to. There's the option of going back to watch older shows, but that's also a chore. I mean, if you wanna watch them legally, then your streaming platform of choice might not have the series you wanna watch, and it's gonna be hard to justify subscribing to a new place just for one series. Which is where VTubers come in. Let's Plays have always been known to be the super quarantine bingeable content darling to the YouTube algorithm, because they are content that can both be easily pushed out daily while providing hours of watch time for the audience. So VTubers, what with most already being just Let's Play with anime faces added, strike right into that zone. Which is why if you have been in the rabbit hole, chances are you have seen memes talking about how they feel that spending 20 minutes each week to keep up with an anime is now a chore, but spending 8 hours daily watching VTubers digging sand in Minecraft is such a joy. And all that can be watched legally for free as long as you have the internet. Which is where I'd also like to point out why the type of VTubers that receive the most boost from this effect are the primarily live 2D company affiliated one like Hololive and Nijisanji, whereas the primarily 3D full body tracking VTubers in the veins of Kizuna Ai, Kaguya Runa and Mirai Akari have since stagnated. This is because live 2D VTubers focus more on live streaming, which again goes right into the YouTube algorithm alley of being hours on end of daily content, whereas 3D VTubers tend to focus more on scripted videos, which require more time and manpower to create. Add on to that is the fact that with live 2D requiring less and cheaper equipment, companies like Hololive and Nijisanji can introduce a bunch of VTubers at once, where they can further help each other create the endless streams of content, striking down even deeper into the algorithm jackpot. Then onto the opposite side is why particularly Hololive hit international gold more than Nijisanji.
Memes, the DNA of the soul.
Which certainly is in large part owing to Koko Kaicho. Memes like Fubuki's Catman, Korone's Ikam Bokam, Hiko's N-word and Subaru Duck Dancing are a great way to introduce someone to a piece of media. They're like gateway drug. They can easily be shared and can be used as easy clickbait. It shows the juiciest part to you without you necessarily needing to understand the background behind it, especially if the meme is universal and not bound by language or culture. I myself was introduced to Hololive through this video of Korone.
I'm Korone Inugami. Virtual YouTube buang. Yeah. Happy stream. Happy stream give you. Yeah.
By the way, this is not to be deriding to the other non-Hololive VTubers. Nijisanji and indie VTubers can themselves have good contents and memes too, just that they seem to be a step deeper down the iceberg than that of Hololive memes. But furthermore, the fact that VTubers are live streamers make them provide another combination of element that people have been craving: human interaction, in the form of anime faces. If the concept of AKB48 was idols you can meet, VTubers are anime characters you can talk to. In a way, they may even be closer to the concept of idols you can meet than actual AKB, considering there isn't a ludicrous paywall or security guards to prevent you from having a full conversation with them. So I guess congrats, Diego. Streamers are someone you can joke with, someone you can actually talk to about your interest, someone who will actually smile and cry with you. Giga has popularized this phrase,
VTubers is just wrestling with waifus.
which, no offense to him, is a sentiment both I and Hololive ID member Ayunda Ritsu disagreed with. Instead, I would say that VTubers are like reality show for anime fans. Well, are there scripts? Are there roles people are playing? Well, yeah, but like the reality show, the good one anyway, the best part of VTubers are the unscripted part. VTubers benefit from both the over-the-top personality of an anime character and the interactiveness and relatability of real people in a limbo that allowed them to be elevated above both, like a reverse uncanny valley. Having the mask of an anime avatar means they can also act more openly, more freely, which allows both them and the viewers to have cartoonish interaction and experience without being judged. And I have to emphasize this, but just because it's cartoonish doesn't mean it's an act or it's childish. Like what Ritsu said about wrestling.
If you say that this is not our true self, then what are we?
Soon be made out of
How real do you want me to be?
bought in a store and assembled in.
Do you want me to speak with my
For the most part, that
true
hasn't happened.
voice? What kind of
Because the
voice do you
objects in
think
the
that
store
my
that
true
attract
voice
people.
is?
I don't mean they look bad, but they're bad.
This is my true voice, and also this is my true voice,
in the
so
way that food becomes
Yeah.
trash as soon as you.
The crazy over-the-top persona can be something that's actually genuine to them. They just couldn't show it in real life, and that's why they needed a persona to be able to live that out. And them being unscripted can also elevate them over the scripted environment of an anime. Hell, some jokes you see with VTubers would actually feel really cliche or cringy in an anime, but in real life where there isn't a convenient hand to set up these scenarios, the same old jokes became a brilliant stroke of luck or genuine show of affection, either among VTubers themselves or viewers that instead made it feel all the more impactful. Likewise for something like gameplay or other accomplishments. In a scripted anime, if you have a story of a girl who plays a competitive game, practice a lot but does not emerge victorious, not even making top 10, it feels like a massive waste of time, right? That's basically how the Yu-Gi-Oh franchise failed writing their heroines. But with VTubers, when you see a girl spending an entire month just practicing Mario Kart despite having never touched it before, but in the end it would be bad luck or just losing in pure skill, even if she doesn't make top 10,
かっこいいとこ見せられなくてごめんなさい
you can share in her emotions afterward that the girl did great, and the warmth of the girl and the community surrounding her isn't something a scripted story can ever simulate. The unscripted, genuine part of the VTuber is what made them special. It can just be comedy gold coming out of sheer luck, or it can be a sharing of tearful celebration and accomplishment like a subscriber milestone, or personally for me, it is a discovery of their personal depths beyond their surface appeal of just being cutesy anime people doing let's plays. Subaru on the surface is a tomboy meme duck, but below is a girl who had struggled with literal poverty and had found salvation in his very VTuber career. Marine on the surface is a horny boomer pirate cosplayer, but below is someone who was indeed matured and wised up from all her years working as a wage slave. Someone who, despite being filled with talents as she is, understands the fear that you might end up going through your entire life as a nobody who will never accomplish anything. Akirose is a kind and caring girl who at first even I admittedly thought this made her kinda bland, but then I discovered how she genuinely struggled being the least subscribed Hololive member despite being in the first batch, until she finally finds a family in their international fans. Suise is memed as a psychopath, but embodies a story of struggle both in the indie world where it's hard to get people to discover you regardless of how talented you are, and her fight to keep her self-made Hojimachi Suise identity even when entering into the big league. Because to her, the avatar isn't just a cutesy mask for the sake of winning over anime fans, but a part of her genuine identity. Watame on the surface might just be a fluffy singing sheep, but below is a perverted uncle with an armpit fetish. But yet below even that is someone who struggled with having a rough family life, being raised by a single mother and her grandmother since her father was planning to disown her, then having to spend money raising her. Repeat the same for the rest of Hololive and many other VTubers. They know the pain of facing everyday family, work, societal, pursuing your own dreams, and countless other problems like we do in a way complete fictional characters cannot convey. Instead of just being pretty anime eye candies, they are real people whose anime mask ironically was able to help them be more genuine to us than more real life streamers can. Or hell, maybe even more than talking to people in real life. Like the thing about acting cartoonish, having this mask of anonymity, and perhaps the knowledge that your audience are actually listening and understanding, also help them to speak up about personal matters more easily. And it was this element of VTubers, the fact that they are anime people who can relate to you and interact directly with you, that leads to another point I was talking about. The therapeutic elements of VTubers. No one is going to argue 2020 wasn't a stressful year for a lot of us, between the pandemic, the politics, the financial problems, and the little paths to vent all of this steam out. Just being able to see anime girls having fun in itself can be a ray of warm sunlight. But as I said, if you do choose to try and communicate this point to them, these VTubers and the however thousand of other viewers watching may all be willing to give you the emotional support real life people, perhaps even real life friends and families, are unwilling to give. They can be therapeutic but cost way less than professional therapists, many of which doesn't work either way because, speaking from experience, there are many therapists who doesn't really care about their patients and just about their money. While I'll also have to say it's not the VTuber's job to be your personal therapist, and while your interaction with them may be one way 99% of the time, but because of this, when someone wants to make that 1% count, the amount of empathy you get, honestly, was far more than any professional therapist I have seen.
今は辛いかもしれないけど、ちょっとでも自分の配信が力になるんだったら、わためも頑張るから、楽しいと思えることの一つに自分がなれるように頑張るので、生きてほしい。
Yeah, no other anime girls is ever going to give you that. And for the audience, in the year of enforced isolation and distance, where watching the news would easily make you lose faith in humanity and real people, it is these anime people that help stimulate your empathy, help remind you that you still have a heart. That's the feeling animes in recent years can't give you. In the modern anime landscape where you get like a million isekai power fantasy every season, it's all about enforcing the message of me, me, me. that you should feel that you're the center of the universe and anyone who disagrees with you are wrong and evil. Which, again, chances are if you were already watching the news, that sort of mindset should already be eroding your faith in humanity quicker than Corona's confidence in lava.
Have confidence. No confidence.
And even if you're not feeling down, Vtubers can be inspirational. Not only in how many of them has the story about never giving up on your dreams no matter what, there also were countless Vtubers fans who started watching despite being utterly clueless on Japanese. Many of these fans may have spent literal decades watching animes, so yeah, maybe they do understand the common words here and there. And of course there are also subclips that helps translate for you, and even if you want to watch them live, there can be live translators. And these people do deserve the credits and thanks, but nothing is gonna beat being able to understand them yourself firsthand. Which is why it's common to hear stories of fans studying hard to be able to understand what their girl is saying, as well as being able to communicate back. So you can certainly say that Vtubers help inspire people to improve themselves and become better in a way actual anime wasn't able to. And the best part is, this goes both ways. Many Vtubers have started trying to learn English or even other languages in order to be able to connect to their foreign fans better. So not only does Vtuber have tangible positive effects on people, it's also heartwarming to see that you too, all while stuck under quarantine, can positively influence someone else's life for the better. Again, I can't say this is something many modern animes can accomplish. So to see more on why animes are failing, more specifically, on why light novels are so known for creating stereotypically bad stories, please check out my series on why light novels suck, and why it was rigged to suck. And if you want to use that Japanese skill you studied for your Oshi to good use, you might want to become a light novel author so we can help each other to raise the standards of light novel quality and save the anime industry together. And hey, a lot of Vtubers talk about how they have a dream they want to either voice a character in an actual anime or sing a song to be used in an anime. So if you want to build a career and also help your Oshi achieve that dream, that could also be an option. As I have been saying, the massive success of Vtubers, most particularly overseas, shows that international anime market is growing, and that the anime industry is only struggling because outside of a few select titles, most animes are forgotten the moment they stop airing. The success of Holo En and Nijisan Gen just show that no matter where you are from, passion, success, self-improvement, and helping others can go hand in hand. So let's have confidence that we together can improve this landscape. In that case, please check out my Premise Factory playlist, where I give you ideas you could use to start writing your own stories. Please subscribe to see new videos on this series coming out every other week. Thank you for watching, have fun with your VTuber Oshi, and let's meet again.